Hey, this is Brimstone. You're watching AFK away from the keyboard. Ain't no better place to be than right here watching now.
Hey, this is Robert once again coming to you live from the Bowls Event Center in Pflugerville, Texas. And I am here with Mr. Clint Simmons.
That's correct.
And he is with Brothers Grymn and other various assorted bands that he'll probably mention at some point. And you can see him and the Brothers Grymn will be playing at Comicpalooza this upcoming weekend down in Houston. We're going to be talking about the band, talking about the music, whatever other random various stuff comes up. So Brothers Grymn, I was looking you guys up on YouTube, and it's kind of an interesting mesh of, it's like the instrumentals are kind of rock, like kind of rock, hard rock, and then the vocals kind of rap-ish.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that they call now. I mean, it's kind of like hip rock is what they kind of refer to it now.
That's
There's
a new
kind
one
of
to me.
a gene, a genre to it. But yeah, it's something that my cousin and I got the band together and have been playing around Austin and Houston, and Dallas area, and stuff like that. So
that's cool. So how long has that particular band been going?
I believe we've been together for 4 years now. So going on 4 years.
Cool. So it was this a genre that like you and your cousin were already into, or was this just something that you decided to try?
Yeah, no, we've done stayed in that rock and roll feel as far as the instruments go, but he and I were in another band together before that that in our high school days, and we went around with some other bands playing, and just kind of came back to this, what we do, and so we've been doing that ever since.
Like I said, this is not really a genre that I personally would listen to a whole lot of. I love rock. I'm not really too much into rap, but it was kind of an interesting new experience for me listening to it.
Yeah, we try to have some kind of difference a little bit. We do, have some other than the guitars. We do have a DJ and samples and things like that we throw in there. So try to make it as unique. Bring that old school Houston back in the old days. Had that old school funk, hip hop sound, rock sound back in the 90s.
Right. So, what got you started in music? Like, how you're a drummer? How long have you been playing the drums?
Man, I was a kid. They used to have that J.C. Penney catalog, and they had the Muppets drum set in there. So that
thing always had the coolest stuff, man.
Yeah, always got to circle the toys during Christmas to see what I wanted for Christmas. But I've been playing drums musically since I was 5th grade, 6th grade, and I'm 42 years old. So I've been playing for a long time, and I've always been in the percussion side, drums and percussion, and was in marching band when I was in high school and middle school, and then played drums within other bands throughout my years.
It was interesting. The one instrument that I was always obsessed with when I was a kid, but I never learned to play it, but I was always obsessed with the fiddle. But I started singing when I was in like third grade, I started, with the boys choir, and I sang most of my life. So, that's the majority of my musical background is in vocals. But for some reason, when I was a little kid, I was just obsessed with like fiddles, and my dad, they'd give me like the toy ones or whatever every now and then, and I just don't understand what it was. And now as I got older, and it's like embraced more of my like Celtic roots, and it's like I'm really into like traditional like Irish music and stuff, and it's like, well, there it is. I guess it was just always in my blood.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like that music bug. You get it when you're young, and it just never goes away.
Yeah, my mom's side of the family, along with my cousin, is basically that whole side of the family. We were all just musically, several of my family members that are musicians. So
yeah, it does seem to run in the family. I know my dad, way back when, he would always tell me about how he self-taught himself saxophone. And he actually got to play with like Francis Yankovic way back in the like 50s or 60s or so. And then his dad, my grandpa, built and played Dulcimires.
Nice.
And we actually had a couple that he had made growing up, and I would always play around with them. So old school stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I was telling you before we went on air, it's like I'm possibly related to Mozart and Carl Maria von Weber, two composers. So I guess, it does tend to run in the family.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I'm not complaining. I kind of miss it. I've been out of practice for the past few years. Kind of miss performing.
Yeah, it's always fun. I have a family now, and I have two little boys, and so squeezing it in. It's always one of my passions that I'll always have is playing music and being on the drums. So I hope that I can do that until I can't play it anymore.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain. Yeah, it was like right in from there. You go. Okay, so all right, so we got audio now. We're good. All right. Yeah. Okay, so sorry about that. That's the joys of live production. Hey, Jana, those cables are like in the lens. Yeah. Is that good? That's the joys of doing a live show sometimes is, you get all the fun mishaps.
Yeah.
But that was our first one of the day, so we're doing pretty good so far.
Good deal.
I don't know if that means if you're bad luck or...
No. Don't jinx me.
Nah. There's batteries. Batteries. They die. That's what they do.
Yep.
So where were we? We were talking about something.
We're talking about the music.
The music. Gotta load the music. So what are some of your favorite artists and like some of your inspirations? Who like some of your favorite drummers maybe that you grew up on?
My younger days it was drummers like Buddy Rich. Neil Peart. And then as I grew up, got more into music, it was Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins, people like that. So I've really become a big fan of the Foo Fighters, and back in the old days, I was a huge, still am, Rush, U2, all the classics, Zeppelin, AC/DC. Red Hot Chili Peppers, 311. I mean, I have a wide spectrum of music that I really like, that I'll listen to.
Yeah, the I know, like Buddy Rich, like you were saying. I mean, that's like the quintessential drummer right there. You gotta love him. I still to this day love the Muppet Show with him and Animal.
With him and Animal, yeah.
That cracks me up every time I see that. Another one of my favorite drummers was Eric Carr from Kiss.
Yeah.
And was cut off way before his time, in my opinion. But on the Revenge album, they have the Carr Jam that they did. And it's like, that's just listening to that and just hearing him tear it up. It's awesome. Awesome stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I have I had quite a bit, that I really took after when I was younger, but really, at the moment, I mean, it's got to be, Taylor Hawkins or of the Foo Fighters for me. So
cool.
Yeah,
and Foo Fighters. See, again, not really a band I listen to a whole lot, but
yeah,
that's all right. It's all good. That's why music's so universal. It comes in all forms.
That's right.
The only drumming I've really ever done was I did in college. I did take a percussion class. I like basic drum lessons. Didn't do too great on it, and then I also played the buran in the early music consort, which is the big Irish hand drum.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I can say that I was the chief percussionist.
Yeah.
By it's a nice way of saying I was the only percussionist.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It's like I like one thing I like doing is like we go to Renaissance festivals and stuff. And they always have the drum circles. It's like the big burans and the shaman drums and the didgeridoo, or not the didgeridoos, the djembes and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to the Eeyore festival not that long ago. And they have a big drum circle out there as well. It was a lot of fun.
It's always relaxing, It's just, I always like them. I used to always like them at Ren Fair at night. We'd be camping out, and just like you just hear the drum circle off in the distance, and just lull you to sleep.
Yeah. They're fun to be a part of, that's for sure. So.
And of course, you get to, if you go hang out by it, you get to see all the crazy belly dancer chicks and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good times. And so you were telling me that Comicpalooza is actually going to be your first Comic-Con.
Yep, it is actually. Like I was telling you, I mean, I've always wanted to go to one. So to be able to actually be performing at one, on one of the busier days, and to be able to have that experience it, I'm pretty stoked about it. So.
Yeah, and you picked a pretty good one because Comicpalooza is definitely like one of the top 3 in Texas, in my opinion. It's definitely one of the biggest, if not the biggest. And so, how did you guys get invited? Did you apply to play, or what's the process for bands going there?
It was our I would kind of call him our manager. Really, was the one that kind of got it for us. His name's Shane, and he's the one that basically books a lot of our shows in Houston. So we were lucky enough to have him to get that and get the show, and we're all just really excited about it. So
sounds cool, because I know they've had some. They tend to have bands every year, and I know they have a lot of kind of a nerd theme bands. A couple years ago, they had the Tesla Coil guys.
Oh, nice, yeah. Those guys are here local, right? Aren't they?
I think they are. I know they've played several shows here, and they were down there, and we didn't get to really watch them because we were on our way to go film somewhere, but we walked by and they had the Tesla Coils going. It was like people in the cages. It was
that's a very very cool show too. If you've not seen it, I'd highly recommend that show too. It's a really neat show. Yeah,
my old roommate went to go see them in Cedar Park a few years ago, and they did the Doctor Who theme, and he actually was the person from the audience that got brought up and was put in the cage
while they did it. Yeah.
While they did the Doctor Who theme, and he loved it. He was going on about it for days.
Yeah, that'd be cool to be picked to do that. It'd be interesting.
As he would be a good guy to have here for this interview because he's a bass player. He's just old school bass player, just old hard rocking. Favorite band is Black Sabbath. He's got the first edition Gene Simmons axe that he plays.
Nice.
He's a really cool dude. And he also had a really nice Gibson bass that he played. And a homemade one that him and a buddy made.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. I told him he needed to patent that thing because that thing had a pretty unique sound.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, so tying in with the nerd theme of music, it's do you guys have anything like that? It's any kind of comic or superhero related music or?
Actually one of our tracks is called Big Mouth. It actually has a Pac-Man type theme in it. As far as any comic book themed type sounds or anything, we don't have anything like that in our songs, but we sure hope the nerds like us, I guess. But yeah, like I said, we're really looking forward to it, and just the whole experience. I'm sure it's going to be really cool. So
yeah, your first con's always pretty unique. I remember my first con that I went to was, I was in 7th grade, I think, and it was here, in Austin at the convention center. It was a Creation Star Trek con. Because back in those days, there weren't nearly as many cons, and Creation was one of the companies that put on a lot of the big cons, and so it was just this big, huge, almost entirely Star Trek con. Because a friend of mine was a huge Trekkie, and it was just all the people in costumes, and it's there was one guy that was as Boba Fett, because he always got the Star Wars guys invading, but it was cool. Mm-hmm. But he had the full Boba Fett outfit, and he was handing out wanted posters of Han Solo and Princess Leia that he had made, and it was really cool, and it's lots of good memories.
Yeah,
and that's actually, I got my Star Wrath of Khan Starfleet pin up there that I got at that con, and I've had it ever since, and that was probably 20 years ago, so close to it.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. We had talked about our frontman Jeff being Darth Vader and the rest of us being stormtroopers when we played, and one of these friends that we have that's a big time in that and these events said there's some kind of the 701st.
Oh, the 501st Legion.
The 501st,
yeah.
and then we were like, well, then we'll be Star Trek. And she was like, no,
there's a whole
another clan of them,
Star Trek. There's Starfleet International. And then based here out of Texas, you got the U.S. Navarists, the 1701st.
That's the one she said. The 1701st.
And those are actually both good friends of ours. Cody and his crew. They're good guys.
So I think we're just going to dress normal.
Yeah. Well, you could always get, represent your favorite superhero, get superhero T-shirts or something like that, or, there's no shortage of nerdy things.
yeah, for sure.
So, do you have albums out, or are you producing any albums at the moment?
We do. We have our debut album that's it's called G, and it's on iTunes right now. And then we have enough material to have another album that we're going to hopefully put out at sometime in October. So.
Would that be digital or CDs?
Both, digital and CD. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Going to old school with the CDs.
Yeah, I'd like to do some vinyl too. It's pretty expensive, but it would be nice, to get some vinyl out there as well.
Yeah, that's I'm amazed actually people still do vinyl, but it's classic, I guess. You can't.
It's the best sounding that you can get.
I remember when I was a little kid, we had an old stereo that had the record players, and even had 8-tracks.
Yeah.
So I grew up with 8-tracks and records, and then eventually cassettes and all that. So it's like, man, I feel old now.
Yeah. Well, vinyl's got the it's not compressed, so you don't have to you don't have any compression of the music. It's very warm and you get a wider view of the music itself.
Yeah, it's more like you're there, sound. Yeah, I definitely enjoy vinyl, but it's just so hard to find now. And, sad, really.
It's making a comeback. So you can find it at out here. There's Piranha Records and Round Rock and Waterloo Records as well. They have a lot of vinyl.
Cool. So after Comicpalooza, if people dig you guys, where else can they see you?
If you go to our Facebook page, normally we have all of our dates on there. We have shows in Houston, usually about once every 2 or 3 months. We play at places like Fitzgerald's, downtown, several places, different areas. You can just find us on Facebook. And then here in Austin, we play in. We're actually playing. I think it's July 11th with L.A. Guns and a couple other bands. But I believe that's not at the Dirty Dog, but we're here in Austin and Houston quite a bit. So if you like our show. You can always go to our iTunes or our Facebook page. That's where you can find all of our information for concerts.
And just make sure you spell Grymn right, because I learned this the hard way. It's Grymn.
Correct.
Because apparently there is another band out there on YouTube with the Brothers Grymn with just the Grimm.
We didn't want to have to, if we ever made it, we never wanted to have to change our names. We spelt it not the correct way of the tails. So it's Grymn is our how you spell Grym.
Yeah, like I said, I learned that the hard way, because when Ken's like, "Oh, look these guys up, you're gonna be interviewing them," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," and I type in Brothers Grymn, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, they're like from like New York. That can't be right."
Yeah. So that's why we did that.
Yeah. Sometimes Ken forgets to tell me important details like that sometimes.
Yeah.
I blame him. And, it's always his fault. He's the behind-the-scenes guy, so it's easy to put the blame on him.
Yeah. That's right.
I'm the one that has to be on camera and be like, I don't know. Hope that you enjoy Comicpalooza in your first con. It's definitely, like I said, you're picking a good one to be your first one.
No.
It's they always have tons of stuff going on. Always lots of good cosplays, tons of stuff to spend money on. Merchandise.
Yeah.
Nerd, the merchandise.
Yeah,
as Bill Brooks would say.
Yeah, we're super stoked. So very, very honored to be playing out there, and really looking forward to it.
Awesome. So that's the Brothers Grymn that are going to be playing at Comicpalooza on Saturday
the 23rd?
Mm-hmm. The 23rd. I don't know if we know what time yet. I don't think they've
2 p.m. I believe
2
is
p.m.
what, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He knows more about the schedule than I do because they still haven't given us a schedule yet. So,
No.
And so that's Comicpalooza down there in Houston, Texas at the George R. Brown Convention Center. And I remember all this stuff. It's amazing. It's like I haven't been up since way early this morning. So thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
it was
problem.
a pleasure talking with you.
Nice
Hopefully we'll
well.
get to check you guys out Saturday if we're not busy filming somewhere.
Yeah. We'll look for you.
All right. And stay tuned. We have more entertaining people coming by to talk to us. We got a couple more authors. We got another band, the Returners, that are going to be here later. And they will actually be playing for us. So check us out. Make sure you like and subscribe on that Facebook. And like and subscribe on YouTube. And tell all your friends, family, your dog, your cat, your dog's fleas. I don't care who you tell. Just get people to watch, because that's how you support us, and that's how we can keep the content coming. So stay tuned for more.